At the dawn of metal time, the gods planted the seeds for generations to come, leading to the creation of deathcore and metalcore decades later, allowing the emergence of a diamond in the rough that would blur the lines between the two genres. This is the story of For the Likes of You. Hello everyone, I am Nicobolas, and today I'm going to be trying something new. I've been wanting to throw my hat into the video essay pool for a while now, so I figure I'd start off by tackling a topic that I'm very close to and feel very strongly about. It is a little bit of a bittersweet accomplishment with how recent events have turned out, but more on that later. So without further ado, let's jump right in and see how it all started. For the Likes of You, also dubbed as Fly or the Flyboys by their endearing fans, is a fairly well-known metalcore band from the Pacific Northwest, formed in 2011 by founding members vocalist Casey Molinar, guitarist Justin Peterson and Patrick Reese, drummer Devin Kite, and bassist Ryan Olson. A couple short years after forming, they would release their full EP, Where My Heart Is. The EP has 3 tracks, and though it may be short, it's a running start for a band's first release, comprising melodic choruses and heavy breakdowns throughout songs that would be synonymous with the band later down the line. An interesting thing that I noted while researching for all this is while the EP has a Spotify link if you Google it, it's only listenable through Bandcamp, which is I find is weird, but anywho, pretty decent start for a band. The next release in 2014 was their first single, Sleep in the Shadows, which before its release would see the exit of guitarist Patrick Reese. With this exit would bring the entrance of Zach Holzer, or as most people would know him, Zoltzer. Holzer was immediately thrust into the fire to shoot their first music video. The single would have them continue down the path that they set with Where My Heart Is, with more melodic choruses and fun breakdowns. Personally, I think this is where Casey shows off his screaming capabilities the best, really showcasing his talent and even participating in the chant during the chorus. Overall, the reception was a little mixed upon its release, with some praising it and others basically saying, hey, it could have been better. But what I find hilarious is this random dude from 2022 ripping it as if bands just don't evolve at all. Like, yeah, sure, Black Sabbath sure did sound very, very similar, like very clearly the same band when James Dio was in it as when Ozzy was in it, right? Yeah. Either way, they kept on trucking and produced yet another single a year later. Resolution would be their next single, and instrumentally it's leaps and bounds ahead of what they were doing prior. Production-wise, instrumentally, just all around. Even this Dicky guy seems pleased with how far they've come. The rest of the comments would agree as well. Just ignore this guy. And while I feel that Ryan has struggled a bit with singing in earlier songs, he really puts on a show here. Arguably, the best vocal performance is put into a flashlight. This would be their last release with vocalist Casey Molinar, as he departed to pursue other avenues, and the search for a replacement would begin. Luckily, they found one in up-and-coming 5-star celebrity chef.
Is that Jen? Is it Jen? Is it fucking Jen? Is it Jen? Is it Jen on the fridge? Is it Jen on the cupboard? Don't forget about your sausage.
Okay, I feel I just have to add to the Dining with Dickie counter simply for the meat. Where was I? Oh, right. The former From Heroes to Legends vocalist, known for his powerful lows and deathcore grit, joined the band and was asked to perform songs from their previous vocalist, which he didn't really feel comfortable doing, and off to the writing room they went. Just a year after the release of Resolution, a new EP was ready to go, and a whole new era would begin. You may pick up on me spending a little bit more time on each song and release for the rest of the video, and the explanation for that is, I got to see this part unfold. I didn't know who For the Likes of You was before Withered came out. And I've gotten to see every release since. I was there every release day. I feel really strong about it and feel that I need to give it the respect that it deserves and focus a little bit more on it. And so to start off, we have Discretion.
My life is withered away.
We have Discretion.
My life is withered away.
They really explode onto the scene with this shiny new paint with this one. Granted, they had a little bit of a shaky start with the music video release coming out before the EP, but with the EP stream version coming available, New Fly quickly grabs your attention with Austin's vocals, a heavy breakdown, and a just for good measure. It was very well received, with gaining praise from new fans and old, giving Austin a very warm welcome to taking charge with his powerful vocals and lyrics surrounding mental health. Some lines that have always stuck with me were the and the chorus to follow, as I personally had thoughts like this before, and I'm sure many Fly fans have as well. So a big connection was created with the Dickie-era lyrics and his fans. Here emotion is felt in the waning minutes of the song, and that continues on to the next song of the EP, Villains and Victims. Oh, the emotion in this song is palpable. But before we get into that bit, I want to gush how fun the chugging is in this one. Chugging brings a hype intro together, followed by, you guessed it, a breakdown. But it gets better. Justin does this fun little melodic bit during the, I guess you'd call it a chorus? I repeat, so I'll just call it a chorus, I guess. It's an interesting bit that works well with Austin's emotional parts, and it goes hard. From Austin's screeches, his growls, and the lyrics of a man slowly losing his fight, and the feature of the mustard man himself, Zesty Sam's. That outro is arguably the best part of the entire EP. The frantic way Zesty Springs brings the song to a wonderful close and into Ghost Pains. Ghost Pains is quite the ride from start to finish, from its fast-paced intro to its slow melodic chorus and end. Lyrically, this is one of my favorites on the EP. It hits very close to home for me, and having a sense of the backstory for some lines and identifying with a couple myself, such as
Well, is anyone supposed to love me when I don't? Living love myself. We're raised to fear what we don't understand it, so we'll stand petrified till the unknown.
I know all the lyrics Austin has written have some personal connection to him, and it's felt very heavy here, especially in the chorus and the second verse. It could be a reference to absent parents and the pressures put on by children, being forced to grow up fast, losing their youth to it, and the negative sense of worth that accompanies that pressure. It's all heavy stuff. But for the likes of you, would not shy away from the heavy stuff in the future. And since we're on the topic of abandonment, let's move on to Bewildered. There was a sign that Fly would be doing deathcore stuff in the future. This, outside of the hiring of Dickie and just in general, would be that early sign. Bewildered is a heavy kick-ass track that spares no time forcing Austin's heavy lows into your ears. Not just his lows, his disgusting gutturals as well. He really throws his whole repertoire at you with this one. Following that, they do what they may be known best for, being the metalcore and deathcore handshaking moon. Breaking up the deathcore with melodic metalcore choruses, and Ryan really goes in with the chorus. Throwing some Fry singing in with his queens to top it off, this song about dealing with loneliness and the breakdown that comes with it. It would truly be a phenomenal ending to the era-defining EP. But there's still one more to talk about. Hopeless, and that's with parentheses around the less. May be one of Fly's most overlooked songs, but it does have its own little cult following within the fanbase. Here, Austin takes a side seat right next to Ryan and mostly splits the singing duties here, with Austin sounding like he's singing from the other end of an empty gymnasium and Ryan giving Ryan the opportunity to have his own emotional performance, which I think he does fairly well here. Ending of the song could not have ended better with how he belts out the last. Granted, I would have switched the song with Beholder for the closer, but still a great way to end the beginning of an era. Now to the song that really broke the mold with.
How do you like Breakdown Simulator?
Despite being dubbed Breakdown Simulator, Habitual Gloom has always had a soft spot in fans' hearts, as it was either their introduction of the band or what sold them on For the Likes of You, like myself. I wasn't really sold on Fly until I heard this song, and it's quite the banger. You can really hear the deathcore influences. While there were flashes in songs like Villains and Victims and Bewilderment, they really dove headfirst into the genre with Habitual Gloom. Yeah, half of it is just breakdowns, but it mixes well with the melodic choruses. The heavy lyrics about dealing with depression often gets overlooked and just blown off as normal, and the frustration comes with that. Breaks in the song where we hear two interactions between someone struggling with mental issues and the other who seems to not understand the problem, or gives them the get well soon gesture referenced right before the outro, is a song that aims close to home and hits hard with precision, and it won't be the last. "2020's Forlorn" is For the Likes of You's magnum opus. Period. It's the perfect follow-up to Habitual Gloom. It's another song that perfectly hits home, talking about depression and the anger that accompanies it. Side note, I like how Austin says he doesn't want to woof in this one, and yet he does it like 3 times.
I don't wanna die, I don't wanna woof on my company. I can have it too.
The self-inflicted misery line has always been one that stuck with me, ever since I first heard it. It's a powerful line representing the self-blame that can accompany depression, and the way it's screamed is haunting. It resonated so much with me that I got it inked on my arm, right here. But the section
If I let you inside, if I showed you my beating bones, would you see the bleeding, or is it more like doubt? If I can share what makes it weapon, then maybe I can have it too.
is one that echoes in my head and will likely forever, especially that last line. The idea of seeing inside someone's head will change how you feel, whether it's from pity to guilt or sadness to happiness. It really makes you. Songs like this are why you should always look deeper into Austin's lyrics, as they really do make you think, and this one won't be the last, even in 2020. Oh boy. This one's a super heavy one, and it's not just musically. I'm not gonna go too deep into details about the lyrics, but the first section really lays it out. In all honesty, this is probably my favorite song by For the Likes of You. It's unrelentingly heavy, has a very catchy and memorable chorus, and the one-liners prep you for the kick-ass breakdowns. Diluted Mentality always gives me chills. And let's not forget the grisly Rot. Hearing Austin talk about what the song is about, which you can listen to here at here, the line "Ride with me, brother" is a direct call-out to be taken literally and can be applied outside of the song. It would be the last song released with Devin Kite, as he left shortly after the song's release during the pandemic of 2020, and would lead to the band using fill-ins and program drums for their future releases. This event did help lead to the delayed release of their last original single.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad!
The song was well worth the 2-year wait, simply for the fact that they decapitated the Forlorn Demon, hung it inside a shed with a bunch of lives, and made a video with it. Okay, and it's also super heavy, and continues down a heavy deathcore hot streak they've been on since Habitual Gloom. It's full of raw lines like, and its reprisal later in the song. And who could forget the call out? Even more chills from me on that one. More heaviness, sick vocals, and relatable lyrics come together for what should be a deathcore state. Also the line will haunt me for the rest of my days. Praying that Austin isn't hiding in my closet, waiting to brie at me. Wait. I think I actually want that. And gladly, it wasn't their last single of the year. Then in 2020, they released their cover of Flyleaf's I'm So Sick, and it's the perfect deathcoreization of an early 2000s song. Not only that, Ryan's back to singing front and center in a Fly song for the first time since Habitual Gloom back in 2018. Doesn't just do a backing part like he does with Rot With Me. He sings the chorus in tandem with us, and their respective singing styles mix awesomely for an epic cover that is the perfect hype for their next release. The long-awaited EP, Pain Perspective, was well worth the wait for the 5 bangers we got. Overall, it's a blended masterpiece, where Austin really takes the aspects of dozens of genres to paint a grim picture. So let's dive into it, shall we? That's what Clay Morg will have you shouting. Even if you don't care for the Lighthouse, you can still appreciate that one line in the song, as it's meant to be an attention grabber. With the context of the song, and you'll grab yours if you haven't been paying attention to the lyrics at this point. Because soon after that, there's one that needs a closer look. Love how Austin switches them around to stick his middle finger up to your titles and shows you that it's not the value in your titles, but the weight the words those titles hold. The outro is a little different than what Fly has usually done in the past. It's slower, it's heavy, and fades out with Austin's vocals into the next song. Even in Death is another example of Fly going out and doing something artistic and different from the prototypical deathcore song. The trap intro, produced by Justin himself, mixes well with Austin's echoey screams, which makes sense since it's not the first time this has happened. It's a heavy song about when someone passes and you had unresolved traumas and feelings to express to them, but you'll never be able to. The moment is gone and you'll still be affected, even in death. It's a powerful underlying theme that is truly made more haunting by the visualizer they put together for YouTube. Gives me the heebie-jeebies. Jacob Hansen does a phenomenal job with all these videos, but he really outdoes himself with this one. I'm gonna be honest here. I think this one might dethrone Rot With Me as my favorite for the likes of your song. As I've said for literally every song, it's heavy and unrelenting at that. But what I really love about this song is the message behind it. It says that you don't have to follow the predetermined path that we have forced ourselves into. Who cares if you don't have kids? Who cares if you want to have a fun job? Life is not a race that you have to follow specific paths to finish. You can wander on your own path and make out of life what the fuck you want to. Create your own purpose and live outside of what others think you need to live by. It's a powerful one that makes me feel validated in how my life is going. I have not taken the same path as the other members of my family, nor do I have to. That's why I'm sitting here today with a mic in my face talking about one of my favorite bands of all time. Did I say it's heavy? This is really heavy. Woof. This is a rough one to top. It's one that really hits home. Just reading Austin's synopsis of the song gets me with what I have seen in my life. Forget Me Not takes the trope of a song about watching a loved one slowly wilt away, and it turns it on its head by being about the loved one's perspective. Without looking at the lyrics or the meaning behind it, it's still an amazing song that instrumentally is a powerhouse of what they've done up to this point. The ending breakdown is one of their best. The foliage intro creeps me the fuck out. Granted, it's a stock child laughter, it's still creepy as hell. The dripping water with the added reverb on the laughter is unsettling, and then the song picks up. It's fast and hard, and it takes names and kicks ass with no respect for personal boundaries. Demand that you live your own life. Don't play by the rules, and don't become yet another plastic plant in this fake garden called life. I honestly couldn't think of a better way for this band to end the EP. A challenging take on life, and the end of an era. And here's why this video is bittersweet. On September 18th of 2022, only 2 days after the release of Pain Perspective, the band announced they would no longer be producing music together. It truly came as a shock. Even though during the quiet times between Rot With Me and Keep Digging, people thought that the band slowly faded away. It still came as a massive shock when it actually came true. The band left on mutual terms. They just felt that the time had come, with how busy they were getting outside of the band, and their age was a tiny bit of a factor. At this point, they're getting closer to the 30, and this is around the time when bands either break up or run out of ideas, becoming repetitive, and they wanted to end on a high note. I don't think they could have left on a higher note myself personally. There was massive hype for this EP whenever it'd be talked about or hinted at within the community, so go on a high note they did. This will not be the last you see of the Flyboys though. Austin always has some projects in the works. His current one taking the front seat with a vacancy for the likes of you left is Darkwatch, a pure deathcore project he has with Jacob Hansen. Mine is also part of the home team, of fun pop-punk party rock. Justin has worked with Austin in one of his solo projects, Grizzy D, making the beat for Jack's Big Night. And I almost forgot they also do a podcast together called the Cold Open Podcast, so don't forget to go check that one out. And Zach is the top bricked up streamer on Twitch, probably streaming Overwatch as we speak.
Yeah. We got our boy in the chat. What else am I supposed to do? Not come? Come on. Imagine. Sorry.
For over a decade, For the Likes of You has been putting out some fantastic work, and with their final banger release, they go out on a bittersweet high note. It was fun time, boys, full of memes, breakdowns, and blaz. May we hear from you again before the heat of the sun releases us from our prisons. Farewell, boys.
All this time beyond will